Well, a very beautiful morning to you and welcome to Flow 94.9 FM again, and this is Politics Right Now. On this platform, we talk politics, exclusively politics. We look at issues the way it is and the way, different from different dimensions, and then trying to give it a perspective so that you can make something out of it. Good morning again and welcome. My name is Sampson. Michael Oni, my co-anchor, is unavoidably absent, but I'm going to drive the show this morning, and we are ready to wade into the crisis bedeviling the Inter-Party Advisory Council in Abia State. Recently, it's been divided, and recently it's been conflicting statements from different quarters. What are they really up to? This is the subject of discussion this morning on Politics Right Now. Well, the Inter-Party Advisory Council, IPAC, is a body of registered political parties in a country or a state, as it were, and it plays an advisory role to the government in power and then in shaping some political developments within their location. Well, it is not an opposition front. As a matter of fact, it draws its membership from even the ruling party. For instance, in Abia State, the PDP is the ruling party in the state, and they are members of Inter-Party Advisory Council, IPAC. So it is not an opposition front. It is just an advisory body. In Abia State, the body has, to say the least, been factionalized, with one group led by Reverend Augustine Yemere and the other led by Prince Nana Ukebu. They are all chieftains of the All Progressive Grand Alliance, APGA, in the state. Well, this is what we're going to look at this morning. And joining me right here in the studio is Honorable Chidi Nwosu. He is the Vice Chairman of the Augustine Yemere-led Inter-Party Advisory Council in Abia State, and he's the Chairman of Social Democratic Party in Abia State. Good morning to you, Honorable Chidi Nwosu.
Good morning, moderator, and good listeners. Good morning.
And again, joining me on the phone is the immediate past chairman of IPAC in Abia State, Honorable Emeka Okafor. We're expecting him to join us on the phone. He was supposed to be in the studio, but for some reasons he could not meet up. But he will be joining us on the phone to look at some of these issues. But starting with you, Honorable Chidi Nwosu, IPAC in Abia State. Lately, there was a statement, there was a press conference where you categorically... Okay, Emeka Okafor is on the line. Good morning to you, Honorable Emeka Okafor.
You're welcome.
Hello.
Yeah, good morning.
Okay, good to have you on the show. Well, it's a pity that you could not join us in the studio. But we have Honorable Chidi Nwosu, member of IPAC as well, in the studio. And we are looking at the leadership crisis so far in IPAC, and whether it has played its advisory role, which the Constitution, which the electoral framework empowers it to do, as it were. So, once again, we welcome you to the program. And then I'm starting with Honorable Chidi Nwosu, seated here now. Honorable, at the point there was this press conference where the body of IPAC, which you belong to, suspended some members, including the secretary, Mr. Augustine, for playing what they considered as a role that is not helpful to the party, to the body itself. Could you confirm that development and what led to that before we get to Emeka Okafor on the other side?
Well, actually, that was right. There was a press conference that led, that railed out the suspension of some of those mentioned by you, and their gross misconduct, as well as going out of the rules of IPAC.
Okay, then let's go to Emeka Okafor on the phone now. Emeka, if you're there and if you can hear me, you are the immediate past chairman of IPAC in Abia State. Maybe you should start by establishing the role of Inter-Party Advisory Council.
The advisory role principle and supposed to have settled among the people. But in our own way of doing things, we refuse to come together to do what we're supposed to do to ensure there is a free and fair election, which will be the primary the system. But I think INEC took advantage that they were not united. And, nobody could give really account of what happened in the election. So, but I just pray that they will come together to harmonize themselves and get prepared for future elections and play those roles they're supposed to play as party advisory council.
Okay, Emeka, your line is not quite clear, but we'll get back to you. We'll try and reconnect again. Maybe you can shed more light on that. I'm very sure that you're very conversant with the function of IPAC. What is supposed to be the real function? What is IPAC supposed to be doing in a situation where we'll find ourselves now? Elections are over. What is the core mandate, the core function of IPAC?
Well, the core mandate of IPAC, among others, includes advising incumbent government at the state level and at the same time at the national level by the national IPAC, and at the state level by the state IPAC, which of course is a coalition of state chairmen of political parties that exist in the state, and at the national level, all the national chairmen of political parties registered by INEC. Apart from advising incumbent governments in the line of delivering good governance to the people, IPAC has an unshaken responsibility of advising INEC and ensuring that the society has free, fair, transparent election at any time there is one. And not just that, only during election time. We also help in modeling the transformation of the electoral system in the state and Nigeria as a whole.
Okay, how did we get to where we are now? The crisis that is rocking the party, how did we get to where we are now?
Well, the truth is that...
Hello, can you hear me?
Well, we can hear you better now, Emeka. Just stay on the line, and then Chidinwos is trying to make a point now. We'll get back to you.
Can you help me? Let me be hearing what he's talking, because earlier I couldn't hear him.
Okay, I think you can hear him now. Hello.
Okay.
Okay, you were saying something.
Yeah, after the 9th annual election of IPAC, because IPAC holds election annually. For Abia State, it took place on the 9th of November 2018. Soon after that, it was electioneering time, and people felt, some members felt that they could cash in on the advantage of the time by routing towards where they think they can get some money. That had to seemingly split IPAC. But the head of those dissidents are not, for now, I see they are not even members of IPAC. For instance, the immediate past chairman of IPAC, Chifemeko Okafor, was the state chairman of PPA prior to even the November election. And he had lost his position as chairman, and therefore is not even authorized to be a member of IPAC. But he can contribute on this issue just as a member of the public, just like any other person. The same thing, Austin Anyebu, who deceived everybody and he was voted as secretary. Before then, Austin was a deputy secretary of APC, and the party nominated him to represent the chairman at IPAC. And the constitution of IPAC, which is the code of conduct, specifies that only members of SWC could be nominated to represent the political party. unknown to IPAC members, thinking that Austin Anyebu was still Deputy Secretary of the State after their congresses. We realized that he only emerged as ex-officio. So from ab initio, he ought not to have represented the party at any level, at that level. And I also see him as a non-member of IPAC.
Okay, let me get back to Emeka Okafor on the line. Emeka, if you can hear me, the question is, how did we get to where we are now, the leadership crisis that is rocking the foundation of IPAC in Abia State?
I've not been hearing Chidi so clearly, but from the little I heard, one, let me make it clear to him that I am the chairman of PPA in Abia State. And IPAC says every party chairman is a member of IPAC. Till today, I don't know what is insinuating. The chief who seated there lacks leadership quality. That's the problem in IPAC today. 3 to 4 years I led IPAC in Abia State, there was no crisis. A good leader should get to his people, know the root of problem and solve it. Not bullying. That young man there is a bully, if I must use that word.
Well, that's harsh. Austin, your choice of word is not good, Emeka. That's very harsh. Okay.
Since he has started mentioning such things, Austin is a member of State Working Committee of APC. The Code of Conduct says if the chairman of the party nominates anybody, that man is representing APC, and he's elected as the secretary. A leader is supposed to read the constitution of any organization he belongs to and know his boundary, what to do and what not to do. Instead of being busy suspending elected members, he should have known a way to reconcile with them if he himself there is eligible to be there. Because I learned as an SDP chairman, the whole chairman boycotted him, passed vote of no confidence on him. That's not what a leader should be having from a leader. You should know that a leader is the ability to carry your followers along.
Okay, Emeka, the question here is about IPAC. Now, how did we get to the crisis point? How did the... I know you led a particular delegation that is causing ripples on the other side now to the governor. That delegation had Prince Nana Ukebu, Austin, the APC representative of in IPAC, to the executive chambers of Government House in Abia State. And after that visit, the other party actually visited the governor later on, and they said that they are the authentic leadership. So how did we get to this point? I want you to establish, because as a former chairman, you should know some of these things.
Yes, my leading Nanu Kebu and his people to the ESCO chambers is to introduce them to the state governor, who have been working harmoniously with us. And what formed my opinion is that Nanu Kebu is the elected chairman. What come about it is that he came to the election venue with a court order stating him as the authentic chairman of APOGA as at that election day, which is 9th of that month. So there has nothing to do on that election day with IPAC. With that, a Democrat, and I know that it is my right to respect the rule of law and court order. If we must be saying that people are not obeying court order, we as the head of political party should be the one championing such a thing. So that was why after the election, the other members elected, out of the 9 9 executives of that IPAC, who went with 6 of them to see the governor. The facts are there, the records are there. You can go to the INEC and collect the names of those people elected. So we said, since this man, a court of competent jurisdiction has placed an order against him, he should not come into that election. In fact, he slipped into the election hall after I must have told them that I can be part of illegality. I've served the government for a very long time, and I know what it is. That what precedent are we setting for the people following us if we must disregard court order?
Okay.
So that was why after the election, I found it fit that it is my duty as the chairman that is handing over Abia State to hand over the...
Okay, Emeka, let's give opportunity to Chidi Mosu here. Chidi, was the position of the chairmanship of IPAC zoned to APGA? Is it like a zoning arrangement that APGA must produce the leadership of IPAC before we come to who is the authentic leader between Nana Ukebu and Augustine Reverend Ehemere?
Okay, in the first place, Chief Emeka Okafor has admitted that he chaired IPAC for 4 years.
Yes.
And by then, he never realized that he has to read the constitution of IPAC or the code of conduct that restricts anybody from holding a particular office for more than 2 terms. But he has admitted he held chairmanship office for 4 years. And in a bid to holding on to power, because the pressure became so much that he must exit, because people like us now came into the body, he did everything to put a surrogate, somebody he feels he can control. I don't know what he gets, personal interest, whatever he personally gets from IPAC that wanted him to do that. But however, that election was conducted for those who were present in that election. There was not zoning of any office to any political party. It is the capacity of the individuals that were as present then in that election and as chairman of political parties that were voted for, and they voted for others. So the issue of APGA leadership does not arise. Following that too, part of our code of conduct is that we do not go into resolving political party internal issues. So IPAC has no business delving into what is happening in APGA. But I still tell you that even up to today, I want Emeka and those he works around with to tell us how many times Nana Ukebu has attended the National Executive Committee meeting of APGA. Because it is the party that knows who the members are. It is a party at various levels that understand who holds what offices. In this regard, I think Reverend Ehemere has been attending NEC meetings of APGA, and at the same time other meetings of APGA at that level. But I'm not here to speak for him or to speak for APGA. I'm not there, but that is just the truth. So he's made the seat coming to tell people that Nana Ukebu, who never contested any election on the 9th of November, is being paraded around as chairman of IPAC. He doesn't even know where that election held and how the election held. Okay,
let's get back to Emeka. Emeka, if you're still on the line, I want you to confirm to us whether you still acknowledge Nana Ukebu as the IPAC chairman in Abia State, as it were, because you said he came to the election venue with a court order, which you obeyed like a responsible citizen of this country. Do you still maintain that ground? Do you still acknowledge him as the rightful chairman of IPAC in Abia State?
The fact is clear. If there is a court order restraining somebody, we don't need to allow the person be involved in the election. You know what it means, violating a court order. Okay?
All right.
Then what we concluded that day is that if there is an issue between the two, they should leave us so that other parties can run for the election. You understand me?
Yes.
And later on, something funny happened.
Which is?
Okay. I still insisted, and other people insisted, that we are not going to work with somebody court restricted from assumption of an office. So that is the fact and issue.
Okay. Are you aware of the suspension of Mr. Austin Anyebu of APC, Julie Nwoko of AD, Melvin Wogu of YDP, Ikechukwu Nwankwere of LDP, and Chief Chima Uchebu Peter of ACD? Are you aware of the suspension of these members?
Yes, even the suspension they claim about is unconstitutional. Because one, the Code of Conduct stated clearly that a forum of a meeting should be 50% of the members. Okay? Then the forum for executive meeting is also 50% of the elected officers. Then tell me how they got the 50% number to make up the forum to suspend anybody. And before you suspend anybody in IPAC, you must make this matter known to a disciplinary committee. Then they will give notice to those people. Then the people will be invited. There will be proper interrogations before such action is. Well, Chidi also has no experience of IPAC. He doesn't belong to IPAC. He just forced himself during the election to the IPAC. So he doesn't know the honors of IPAC. He doesn't know the what even is in that code of conduct.
Well, I would plead we refrain from personal attacks.
To answer some certain questions there.
Okay, Chidi, you were part of the other faction of IPAC that suspended Austin Anyebu and then 4 others. Did you follow the due process? Was there a disciplinary committee before that suspension was announced?
From what I had already laid out this morning, there is no faction in IPAC Abia State. If few persons disobey or flout the constitution or the code of conduct of IPAC, the law will descend on them, and disciplinary measures should be taken. The truth is that, yes, if you read that press conference, you will see that it was a report. That press conference, the content arose from a report of a disciplinary committee well constituted by IPAC Abia State to investigate the allegations on those the hammer fell on their head. And actually they came up with a report, and the body ratified their report. And that report now formulated what or accumulated into what became a part of the press conference. Okay. So it was within the confinement of provisions of the code of conduct that we acted.
Okay, Emeka, if you're still on the line, you've led IPAC for 4 years, like you pointed out. What do you think is the cost? I mean, what IPAC stand to lose in the course of all these crises?
Actually, IPAC is an organized body that's supposed to be very helpful to the government in power and the people that made up various political parties. You see, so it's just to bring the system close to government in power, both nationally and statewide. If they continue to be in disarray, well, some of the things they're supposed to be contributing for the state to move ahead will not be there. And look at what happened in the last election. If we Abians actually know what it means to participate in an election or win election, we'll understand that actually the incumbent governor won this election clearly because his opponents were not prepared. IPAC on their own was not there. So I urge our people to tolerate the election and not to bother themselves going to court, because nobody has facts. Some of them who are alleging that the election was rigged has no facts on ground to go to court with. So that's the problem. So, but we have to congratulate the governor. We have no option, because I think if we encourage him, I think he will do better this second term. And let IPAC themselves organize themselves. The Chidiwosu that is there, if he wants to lead IPAC, it should be somebody who tolerates people. A leader should be tolerant. People will rise up against you. But it is your duty as a leader to be tolerant. Organize yourself. Myself, before now, many people have been shouting this against me. But I did that, and they voted me again. They voted me again. They voted me again. I had no crisis with anybody before they chose me to be the IPAC chairman in the Southeast. So we should be tolerant. Let him go back to drawing board. Let him be that during their era that they scattered IPAC. Lately, I say I'm not gonna keep on involving myself in such crisis, because it will affect me as a person in the future. Okay. So let them organize themselves and reconcile.
Are you saying
themselves to move on with one front?
Are you saying you are going to resign your membership of IPAC because of what is going on?
As far as you are a party chairman, you are now resigning. Your party still belongs to IPAC. So there's no resignation there. And those of them saying they suspended anybody, IPAC say you cannot suspend anybody from IPAC. You can remove anybody from his office if he misbehaves after going through the thorough investigation of the disciplinary committee. If it is an office holder, it can be relieved of the office. They're not suspending anybody, because suspending anybody is like suspending a political party. So there's nothing like suspension in IPAC. You can be removed from your office, but suspension is not there.
Okay.
So that is why I told you some of them doesn't even know the code of conduct. They should read it, or if I come into Mahia, I will locate you to give you a copy of that code of conduct.
Okay,
that you have a very clear look at it.
But Emeka, stay on the line. Just one more question for you. But I need to get a quick reaction from Chidiwosu. After that visit to Government House, the positions of some of the party leaders have been a bit confusing. Take, for instance, Reverend Augustine Yemere, who led that delegation to Government House, who congratulated the governor, has his own candidate, Dr. Alex Oti, in court. Likewise, some other political parties. And we are confused. Okay, you have congratulated the governor, and then your candidate is challenging the victory. Could you clarify things here, Chidiwosu?
Okay, first let me put one record straight. In the first place, Chief Emeka Okafor is wanting to holding to an office. There is no office like Southeast Chairman of IPAC. There's no provision for that in the Code of Conduct and the Constitution of IPAC. It's just a self-acclaimed position. The direct to your question is if the visit has anything to do with the litigations going on. Well, you are bound to play a constitutional role as a member of IPAC and IPAC as an entity. The election has held, results announced, and some of the contestants have been declared winners. Whosoever that is declared winner is the winner of the election for the moment. It does not deprive anybody from going to court. If another person goes to seeks legal action, and through tribunal and all the processes, the person emerges eventually, we see the person as being in charge and in control of the government of the day, who it is our responsibility to advise. We still get back to the person to advise the person. We've categorically stated that IPAC is not an opposition party. It's not an opposition group. But the individual political parties can be opposition parties. That is where we are.
So how do you differentiate this?
Yeah, it's unfortunate. It's really the way, you see, that shows that somebody is a gentleman, that somebody is humane and understands his role as a citizen of our country and of our state. That Augustus Ehemere is the chairman of ABGA does not shield him from being the chairman of IPAC and from playing the role IPAC should play as provided by law.
Okay, Emeka, if you're still on the line now, we want to find out how or what is the means, the vehicle, the medium of conveying this advice or the things that you think that the government should do to the government. As I'm talking about IPAC as a body now. What is the level of interaction that is supposed to exist between IPAC and the government of the day?
Actually, IPAC supposed to belong to the government, at least to help offer their own portion of advice to the government. It must not be in a harsh way, but it has to be constructive. On what Chidi said about Ehemere leading a delegation to go to government, yes, if he believes that his party was not prepared for the election, he has the right to go and congratulate somebody that has won. Because you understand and you know that there was a time APC and APOGA was like having a meeting of coming together to battle the incumbent government. That is a real testification that the two parties, APC and APOGA, were not prepared. So Ehemere going to congratulate the governor knew actually that governor won an election and defeated those parties. Because the election is not by noise making, or maybe if crowd attends your watch rally or something like that, you believe you're popular. No, they are not popular. The election has been conducted and won by the OKZ there. Then his right is to go and congratulate him and advise his party to withdraw whatever suits they have taken up against OKZ. As an IPAC man, he has the right to come on air and advise all those people going to court. If actually he's the IPAC chairman, he has to come out and advise those opponents of the governor to go back and reconcile with the governor. Because you can really understand that going to court does not help the state. So if any of the candidates has the interest of Abians at heart, they should rally around to make Abia a better place, offer their own piece of advice, and take along the government with them for better Abia. If not, they are looking for their selfish interests. Taking a governor to a court up to 5 times in the last dispensation, and they want to start it again. Who are they doing? They are dealing with the people of Abia. The same people of Abia you want to reign over. You are dealing with them by distracting their governor. So if they want to be voted next time as a as a governor of the state, they have to work with the governor.
Okay,
then
Emeka,
during the election, they will come out.
Emeka, if you don't mind, I want to find out, did your party field a governorship candidate in the last go-by election in Abia State?
Yes, we did not. I wanted to run for governor, but I saw that my finances cannot carry me much because I don't want to pretend. I want to be a realistic in whatever thing I'm doing.
Okay,
just
before we let you off the line now, what will be your advice for the governor? What should be his priority as he prepares to commence his second tenure?
Actually, they have been doing some good works, which is not everybody will understand him. in his first tenure. I am urging him now to concentrate on infrastructures because Aba or Abia as a whole is made up mainly traders and artisans and some professionals anyway. So what people needed mostly is good road. We should concentrate on building up Aba more especially so that the traders can be doing well and also be supporting him by paying their internally their revenues, so that he will have more money to perform or to tackle other sectors. So the area I want Timberlake to concentrate is building of roads. Roads is very important. An average Igbo man now does not have time to ask government to sink a borehole for them because almost all the houses built now will sink our boreholes. So if you concentrate on doing roads, I commend him for the quality of roads he's doing. He should take it up from there again and make sure those of them started is completed and then go into new ones. So that at the end of his tenure, at least Aba people and Abians can beat their chest that we want to see quality roads come to Abia.
Okay, thank you very much, Chief Emeka Okafor, immediate past chairman of Inter-Party Advisory Council, IPAC in Abia State. Thank you very much for joining us on this important discussion, even though you could not make it to the studio. But we'll be glad to have you anytime you are in Umuahia. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, let me return to you now, Chidinwosu. Just as we coast home now, we need to confirm, are there efforts from the body of parties in this state, talking about IPAC now, to resolve these differences? Because it looks like it would hamper you from meeting your objectives.
Well, I don't think that there's any big deal from the perception you're coming from. The obvious thing is that IPAC Abia State has been up to its constitutional rules. During the elections, IPAC, led by Reverend Hemere, supervised the distribution of materials from INEC headquarters in Umuahia for the first election that was deferred to the 23rd. The election took place, and on the 9th election, IPAC, side by side with INEC, supervised the distribution of materials. And other rules we played. We advised INEC on parts to follow, and INEC obliged IPAC on some of those parts which they followed. The issue about resolution, just like Mecca is speaking, is such a person is not willing to compromise. He still wants to hold on to power. Two, you look at Mecca's presentation, he speaks like a pet staff, but that does not mean he's looking for something to hang on himself with. IPAC Abia State is already consolidated, and we are coming up with a package in form of advice, comprehensive advice to Governor Kwesi Ikpeazu on the best way to deliver good governance to Abia people. As that comes on, I think Flu FM will be invited to join on that presentation.
All right, this is Politics Right Now on Flow 94.9 FM this beautiful Wednesday morning, where it's time for you to weigh in on some of the things we've talked about here. Basically, the crisis rocking the Inter-Party Advisory Council in Abia State. The studio lines remains the same thing. 0808 126 949, 0811 6052 949. Let's see if we can manage some calls before we drop the anchor. Hello. Hello.
Yeah, hello, good morning.
Good morning to you.
Yeah, Chidebere on the line.
Chidebere, you're welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, I don't have much to say about the crisis rocking IPAC in Abia State. All I have to say is for them to put their house in order, because any house that is being divided can never stand. Because looking at what is playing out between him and Emeka, I think the struggle has not even ended. So if I am to say, let them come to a roundtable meeting and dissolve this issue once and for all, so that they can be able to have a formidable office in how they say, so that when government is not doing well, they can stand boldly and challenge the government, and when government is doing well, they can equally stand boldly to commend the government on the things that government is doing, in order to make sure that Abia State will have a full confidence in them. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you very much. Hello. Hello.
Hello. Good morning, Sampson. Good morning, the girls in the studio.
Good morning, Sir.
Good morning. Yeah, my name is Mr. I just want to say it is very, very unfortunate having this issue and this crisis breaking and not getting together to manage the affairs of IPAC. And of course, like one of the guests has said, I don't know, maybe the one you called on phone, the best thing they're supposed to do is to put their heads together and then at least advise the governor. Let those who have gone to tribunal and so on, let them come back together and make sure that the whatever that is intended to be achieved in others, it is being achieved. Because at the end of the day, when two elephants fight, the grass is suffer. So if they really have the interest of the state at heart, let them withdraw. IPAC should come together and support the government of the day. Let us have peace in the state, because this is what has been taking us backward, and we have not been progressing as expected. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you very much. The numbers again: 0808-126-949, 0811-6052-949. Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning to you.
Good morning. My name is Honorable Madoka Okoro. Honorable Chidi, I think you made some salient points. And what Chief Emeka was saying like an empathizer of the ruling party, that IPAC is supposed to be independent. IPAC is supposed to be like-minded, that believe in good governance and good government. Not praising and saying people should rally together. Why should Chidi go and congratulate somebody when his own party does not believe that the election has been won by the ruling party? And I also believe what I wanted to ask Honorable Chidi also, the IPAC chairmanship also, is it supposed to be Reverend or Pastor Ehemre, or is it supposed to be Ukebu? Because from what I have heard and know about IPAC and the leadership, Ukebu was already authenticated by Court of Competent Jurisdiction as the man representing ABGA. So what is the hulabaloo about all these things? And from what you say, you people are intelligent people. People should come together, follow the rules of law, and do a good thing so that Abia will be a better place. I enjoy people like you that are in IPAC. I enjoy people like Otten Tebu from Iguana, who is in APC, good people. Why don't you guys come together and make IPAC a better place? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Comrade Maduka Okoro.